to, at some point, with respect to fascism and genocide, if you give it a chance. So, you know, we should understand that the Amhara genocide is not sporadic. It is not just happened yesterday. It has a long, long history. So now I will give you a short history. To my mind, I divide it.
But short.
Very short. Very short.
Because the people start to go back to history.
No, yes, it is in history, but in a couple of sentences.
Okay.
You know, in 1975, the TPLF was founded. In 1976, they just wrote, published a manifest. And in this manifest, they say they will build Greater Tigray. Greater Tigray means expansion. And they already mentioned which area they want to have, 1976. And that was the northwest of Amhara, Wikait, Tagadi, Umara, Raya, and all this was their plan, 1976. And they managed to annex these areas in 1984. You know what they did? They did extremely brutally. They killed, massacred the Amharas, about 500,000, and that was written by ex-fighter of the TPLF. 500,000 of Amharas have been chased away and massacred and thrown in underground prisons. And at the same time, almost the same amount of Tigrays were settled there. And this is the first part, the first genocide. And that means they have already planned 1976, and they just put it in practice in 1984, starting from 1984. Same is the case with the Oromos. They wanted to have an independent republic, and they were saying that, by the way, the OLF was founded in 1973, and in their program, they said. And this is the first part, the first genocide. And that means they have already planned 1976. And they just put it in practice in 1984, starting from 1984. Same is the case with the Oromos. So let us see it as a protracted activity, which is, we took decades. And what is going on in Uganda is part of their plan, the Oromo plan, in 1975. So this is the most important point, and that's why it has exactly what I say, the main character of fascism. Fascism is the 4 points, and they are happening there.
Yeah, thank you for this.
I just want to add one thing, but very critical here, because also in order to form these kind of states, you have to get rid of many, many people, because there was no homogeneous Oromia state ever in history, or even in Tigray. So for that, in Tigray they managed to control the people, but the obstacle they would proceed is also the Amharas, because they are very patriotic, or so they have to first psychologically fight that, so they come up with this kind of narration, and then now the physical extermination and denial, and also even blaming the victims is what we are seeing now. It's happening. So the Amharas are also seen as a blockade of their state formation. So,
that was questions. Yes, please, ma'am.
Yeah, I just want to make two things clear here. The first thing that you've been saying, everybody is going back to history, because we are talking the history, or we are reading the history, the genocide, the ongoing genocide in Ethiopia towards the Amhara people, because it has two bases, the historical base and the constitutional base. That's why we are mentioning and referring to the historical rhetoric that are tailing to the Oromo people. I can tell you, it just being told for the Oromo children as a story that the Amhara peoples are the killers, the settlers were going to take your land or something like that. And when it comes to the TPLF, they put it as a program, as a constitution, as assigning the Amhara people are the enemy of the Tigray people, and they call upon the people against the Amhara people, the people of Tigray against the Amhara people, and they take the control of the central government. That's why we are raising the two things. You need to understand the two basic things. The other thing that you have been asking about FANO. FANO is just a name for the people of Amhara who are trying to defend themselves from their enemy. It is a heritage of the Amhara people. You cannot stop any Amhara from being a FANO. Everybody's FANO, by the way. FANO might be a teacher, FANO might be a journalist, FANO might be a farmer, whatever profession they have. When it comes to their enemies, they are trying to defend themselves and their beliefs. By the way, FANO around from Bojam, around from Wello or Shawa, they're not moving to other places. They just protect themselves, their beliefs, their relatives, so that they can have a defense for themselves. Even the TPM tries to defend themselves from their enemies in order to defend them, not only themselves, in order to defend the central government when there was a serious war between the TPLF and the central government. So being FANO is not mean that it's kind of a terrorist group or a rebellion group. It is just the people that call themselves as FANO in order to defend themselves from enemies. It's just an informal communication and informal way of protecting themselves. So I can say that surely every Amhara people is FANO in order to defend themselves.
Thank you. I mean, now we heard so much, we came first to the this, to that. But last time, as I said in the beginning, about a year ago, almost, we had this discussion in Brussels, and at the time we were thinking also of, is there any solution possible? And it seems like now it's even more difficult to really have hope that a solution is possible. But do you think Ethiopian people could ever overcome this, what you call balkanization and thinking in ethnic groups, and overcome this? But you also said, that you tell your children these stories, so you transmit, this ethnic divide from generation to generation. Is there a hope that you, as Ethiopians, can overcome that? Because from my understanding, from listening to you, I feel that's the crucial point. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to come to any peaceful solution. If you're still thinking in those, I'm Amhara, you are Romans, is there a chance to, under those difficult circumstances, is there a chance to ever overcome this? It's a question to all of you.
Okay, let me talk to my practice because it's early here. Let me say one thing about how to get a solution for this. The first thing we've been saying. So the first thing that we have been raising is about the historical rhetorics that have been told. So we need to have, by the way, we need to have a serious national dialogue. We need to have a serious external investigation in Ethiopia, what's happening and what has happened previously. The genocides, actually the genocide towards the Amhara people is an ongoing genocide. It started previously, starting almost 30 years ago. So it's continuous. So we need to have an external investigation in order to stop this. And also, in order to maintain or to manage those historical rhetorics, we need to have a serious national dialogue. A dialogue that the government is, I know there is a kind of national dialogue that the government is calling it, but it's a kind of, job, for example, because they're not really inclusive. There must be an inclusive national dialogue. There must be a serious amendment, even not only amendment, a serious change of this constitution. We bring in this genocide and the other problems are from the really is the constitution and the historical territories. So in order to improve, in order to have an agreement or to come up with an agreement, we need to have serious national dialogue as a national level, and also to manage those constitutional issues. The Amhara people who are not represented in this constitution, we always call upon for this constitutional amendment. So if there is kind of legal and extra constitutional activities, we can manage those problems. But what makes this one difficult, as you see, what makes this one to be horrible and we cannot manage it, how can we solve it? Because it will be working on children, it's a constitution, so everything in Ethiopia becomes horrible just because the government doesn't have any interest to solve this problem. Not only the government, both TPLF and Prosperity Party, most TPLF and Prosperity Party, they don't want to solve this problem because they just consider themselves they will stay in their power if there is, if they can only show the image of Amhara as enemy of their respective subject peoples so that they can stay in their power. But if we take a serious measure from the bottom of our hearts, we can manage those problems. There's no problem we cannot be managed in the world. But what it needs is a serious intention and interest. That is what I can say.
Hopping up on that, I would like to ask, like you said, this is a melting pot. At the same time, there's a risk that it will also become a site of the genocide. Currently, are there, as you said, so many international spirit still? Are there any efforts to come to dialogues? Are there any groups in countries trying to go into that direction you just mentioned to overcome this ethnic wars? Is there anything going on there also at citizen level to stop this horror from continuing?
Yeah, at an international level.
Sorry, you can answer, but I address this question to my
I thought that you just you can continue.
Continue.
We have to talk first and then we continue. Okay. Thank you. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Currently, I don't like. There is no genuine political dialogue that is going on in Addis, but there is like an attempt by the government. I know that they have established a commission, whereby this commission is responsible to have this dialogue, and I think there is also like a budget which is probably allocated to it. But the point, as Maza mentioned, is like the way out, the only way out is a genuine political dialogue whereby all political actors, like everyone who has like political interest, should come to the table and discuss. But that will not happen as long as this region has the power. So I think my suggestion is that it may sound a bit extreme, but we need international boots on the ground, and we need a very strong diplomatic pressure on the region that will force it, to create this platform. Otherwise, because like there are like problems that have been, we had a chance to have this political dialogue. For instance, when TPLF took power, I don't know, 30 years ago, but they didn't take the chance. They just want to advance their political view, and we are now in 2020, and we have like more problems. We have like a civil war, a genocide going on, and if we keep going like this, I think we will not have like an Ethiopia as a state as we know it. Already it's a failed state. So there has to be like an international pressure in terms of like political view, and we are now in 2020, and we have like more problems. We have like a civil war, a genocide going on, and if we keep going like this, I think we will not have like an Ethiopia as a state as we know it. Already it's a failed state. So there has to be like an international pressure in terms of like peacekeeping, because that's for me that's the only solution that could stop the genocide now. Is like we need international peacekeeping mission on the ground. Then we need to have like also like those diplomatic measures. It could be like sanction and other measures that could actually force.
I would suggest for the international investigation of the atrocities that are happening. Actually, the UN has mentioned the new chairperson assigned now by Guterres, and last June there were thousands of Amharas massacred in Ethiopia. So that hit the ears and a little bit of the attention of the media, and that actually put them in a position to push for international investigation, also in the Oromia region and other, because Amharas, at least speaking from the Amhara perspective, Oromia, Benishangul Gumuz, and Northern Shawa, which is part of the Amhara region where TPLF is attacking, or the government-backed arms are attacking civilians in towns. So these places have to be investigated, also others. The UN was mentioning that. But now this another round of war started. Just when the UN wanted to go to that kind of path to do the investigation, independent investigation, they started this war. It feels like they just didn't want both parties to pay left, and Abiy Ahmed's region don't want this investigation to take place in Ethiopia. Or maybe only focusing on the war and that. But of course, both have committed war crimes and genocide, so in that sense, they don't want that. We call upon the international community to investigate independently what's happening in the Amhara people so that it can be stopped. Otherwise, the killings will continue. Recently, some days ago, also, a week ago, also was also again another massacre. So we need to push first for the killings to stop, and that needs international pressure. Any means, and UN has to push on that. For all, not only for Tigray, but for Amhara.
Citizen, what would be your main request? What do you demand from the international community right at this point to stop what's going on? What is the main thing that should be done?
Well, I don't want to only talk about the international community, but in short, I just want to divide it into two. The Ethiopian themselves also has to deal with their own problem, meaning the elites should understand that balkanization would not help, and they should understand that they are in that region, they are in the same boat, so they have to find a political solution as soon as possible. That's in the short term. In the long term, I think tolerance teaching, the professional army, and many more things are needed in addition to the amendment of the constitution that Maza mentioned. I mentioned earlier. As to the international community, Ethiopian budget about 50 to 60% is coming from aid and loan. So the major player, the EU, the US, and the UN has to play a big role with the understanding that the Balkanized Ethiopia or the civil war in Ethiopia is not going to serve their best interests. So they need to do a lot of things. I disagree with the boots on the ground, but short of boots on the ground, a lot of things could be done. A lot of things could be done to at least to alleviate the situation that the boots on the ground could come later. I don't agree now, right now, because this is what the TPLF wants. I don't agree now because not only because the TPLF wants it, but I think short of that, things could be done. The ending of rapporteurs and some other, serious initiative and serious dealing, because the EU and the US is one-sided, thanks to the lobbying efforts of TPLF, and it's just diplomats being abroad, and as mentioned before, having a lot of positive relationship with the media. So EU and US politicians and the UN has to really see what's going on the ground. The things that we have done in the past years that didn't work. Meaning, in the past years, as mentioned before, this is the Tigray war. As mentioned before, and has been written by and being on the written and electronic media. It's a one-sided pro-TPLF stand has prevailed in the past in the past year. That has to change. Paradigm shift is needed from EU, US, and the UN. And
it was said that let's make your point clear.
Yes. To your question regarding whether it is possible for the ethnic groups to live together, I would say yes, it is possible. But there is, first and foremost, justice must prevail. That means in Waqaytagadi and all the occupied now war being waged there, an international expert must go and really see to it what happened. And then the people who were responsible for that, they have to be accountable. Without accountability, no. You can't live together. And that was what happened in Rwanda. And this, as far as the international community is concerned, have been very critical because they were very superficial, short-sighted interests, and sometimes also ignorance. And they should really think about it, the position then. The people who were responsible for that, they have to be accountable. Without accountability, no. You can't live together. And that was what happened in Rwanda. And this, as far as the international community is concerned, have been very critical because they were very superficial, short-sighted interests, and sometimes also ignorance. And they should really think about it. The position they have today is not even for their benefit. It is not. Things are changing in the world. And that should be the case. And in connection with that, all the responsible people, not only for Walqai-Tagade and Raya, but also for Walaga, and for all the places, all the responsible must be accountable. And that is Otherwise, there will not be any to live together. It will be impossible. That is not possible.
So reconciliation without accountability is not.
No, it is not a reconciliation, and that is what I mean. Because we have to live. In order to live together, there must be a point, but this point must not be to the disadvantage of the victims. And the Amharas are the victims, and they need justice. Justice must prevail.
Who would be the main actor to bring about this justice and accountability?
Well, so under normal circumstances, the UN would have been that. And they should have come very, very early.
So do you still have trust in them that they will come?
Well, I hope they will come to their own interests. Now they are at least acting somewhat better, and some things are being really told loudly what the ethnofascist TPLF is doing and so on. But they have done a lot of mistakes. I mean, this war would have not taken place without the support of the UN, with lorries, and with we have been listening to so many things which the World Organization is directly or indirectly is involved. I mean, we have to tell that truth loudly so that they understand that we know. And they should think about it.
Maybe next time we can make someone come to one of our panels.
Yes.
I mean,
that would be great. Yeah.
Helping people in need is, I mean, that's a human thing to do. But without condemning the perpetrator, which is TPLF, fiercely, that is a little bit of a joke. So that's actually basically a little bit disappointing from the international community. Their resistance and then the hesitancy to not condemn TPLF fully. And that makes it very difficult to kind of have trust, because obviously everybody agrees TPLF is also responsible for the 27, not only TPLF, of course, all the coalition, but mainly now. And then in this war, they are the main stakeholders. And now also the government is trying to negotiate without having the proper Amhara representation, and that will also not bring any peace to the table. And that's also one thing we have to acknowledge here, is that ceasefire and then going to negotiation without the proper Amhara's representation, because I know the government doesn't represent Amhara's, even I mean the federal government doesn't represent Amhara's, the prosperity party of the Amhara region, prosperity, doesn't represent Amhara people. So there must be a group that represents the true Amhara voices to negotiate, if there is any negotiation or any talk anyway further. So that should be also noted.
Thank you. As I said, we come really to the end of our session now. I just would like to ask all of you if you would have to describe with one sentence, really one short sentence, your dream of where Ethiopia should be like in 5 years or 10 years. What could you say, or one key word or one sentence? Who would like to start? And really just to round this up, not a long answer, short answer, if you have one. What should be? How would you describe that dream, or with a picture? What do you have in mind?
In the long run,
yeah,
truth will prevail, and truth with the Amharas.
Okay. Thank you. Fitsum, anything comes to your mind?
I think I would think as a country that respects its citizen, irrespective of ethnic origin.
And Mando?
Want to already say this?
Yeah. Whose turn is it now? Is it my turn?
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years from now, if that was your question, I would like to see Ethiopia where every every citizen, regardless of their ethnic background, should live peacefully, and whereby they have equal rights, and where we have a government which structure and function basically based on merit, not technical background. That's my wish.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is Measa still with us? No, she's okay. So then I think with these words, I will close this session. Hopefully we can meet each other again under better circumstances. And it's a difficult issue. Of course, we cannot solve it in 2 hours or even 3 hours, but I think we have come to a lot of interesting conclusions. And I just hope that the external world will better understand all the facets, the different aspects of the Ethiopian conflict, because I think that's the main misunderstanding that we got here, especially in Europe and the West, as if it was only between the government and the Tigray people, and so it's very good to listen to you and see that, hopefully you can also make your voice heard. I really wish you good luck with that. Thanks for being with us, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thanks to all of you who joined us and watched our video here. Please also spread the word that this is a conflict we should talk about. Yes. So thanks a lot.
So thank you very much, Monica.
Thank you.
You're very critical, but that was good. I mean,